Dear students, welcome to a new session of Bio Prime Points. In today's class, we are going to discuss some important points from the chapter Human Health and Diseases. This chapter is also divided into two sessions, part 1 and part 2. In this video, we can discuss the main points from the part 1 of Human Health and Diseases. Okay. First of all, we are going to study some common human diseases. First one, typhoid. Typhoid is caused by a pathogen called Salmonella typhi. It is a bacterium and it spreads through contaminated food and water. The mode of infection is contamination and the site of infection is small intestine. So the main symptoms of the typhoid will be high fever, stomach pain, headache, loss of appetite, constipation, intestinal perforations in severe cases. So these are the main symptoms of the typhoid. And it can be confirmed by a test. The test is called Weidel test. Okay, so these are the points you have to remember regarding the disease typhoid. The next prime point is regarding another disease that is called pneumonia. This is caused by a pathogen called Streptococcus pneumoniae. And another pathogen is there, Haemophilus influenza. Both of these are bacteria. So pneumonia is a bacterial disease and it is spreading through droplet infection or aerosols released from infected persons or contact sharing of glasses or utensils, etc. The site of infection is alveoli. The alveoli gets filled with fluid, mucus, so that the person will be getting difficulty in breathing. The main symptoms: fever, chills, cough, headache, lips and nails become grey in severe cases. So these are the main points regarding the disease pneumonia. Another common human disease is common cold. It is a viral disease caused by a pathogen called rhinovirus. And again, here also the spread of the pathogen is due to droplets released from the coughing or sneezing or by contaminated objects, just like that of pneumonia. The site of infection is upper respiratory tract, that is nose and respiratory passage. You know the symptoms: nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, cough, headache, tiredness, etc. Then comes a protozoan disease called amoebiasis, otherwise called amoebic dysentery. The pathogen is Endemoeba histolytica. It is a protozoan parasite. The vector, the carrier of the disease is housefly. The symptoms include constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, stools with mucus and blood clots. Another common human disease is ascariasis. It is caused by a roundworm called Ascaris lumbricoides. It is an Ashelminth parasite. It spreads through water, vegetable, fruit contaminated by the fecal matter of the infected person. The symptoms include internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, a blockage of intestinal passage. The disorder is called ascariasis. Another type of roundworm infection is called filariasis or elephantiasis. It is caused by the roundworm Wuchereria bancrofti, also called filarial worm. Here it is spreading through the bite of female Culex mosquito. The symptoms include chronic inflammation of the organs, usually the lymphatic vessels of the lower limb. So both ascariasis and filariasis are Helminth diseases. Okay. Another common human disease is ringworm infection. It's a fungal disorder caused by the pathogens Microsporum, Trichophyton or Epidermophyton. These are the fungal pathogens. The spread is through the towels, clothes or combs infected with this pathogen. The fungus is acquired from the soil. So the infection is by contact. The site of infection is skin. The main symptoms include appearance of dry or scaly lesions on various body parts associated with the itching. This is collectively called ringworm infection. You know that it is not a worm infection, it is a fungal infection. Okay. Another important bioprime point in this chapter is the life cycle of Plasmodium. You know that Plasmodium is a malarial parasite and it is a digenetic parasite. What is a digenetic parasite? Digenetic parasite means a parasite that require two different hosts to complete the life cycle. So here the Plasmodium requires two hosts to complete the life cycle, hence it is called a digenetic parasite. And since two hosts are there, one host is called primary host, another host is called secondary host. Primary host is a female Anopheles mosquito and secondary host is a human being. So what is the actual difference between the primary host and the secondary host? The host inside which the sexual stages of the parasite occurs is called a primary host, and the stage inside which asexual stages occur or no sexual stages occur is called a secondary stage, secondary host. So here in the case of Plasmodium, the sexual stages of the Plasmodium occurs inside female Anopheles mosquito. So that is why the female Anopheles mosquito is considered to be the primary host of the Plasmodium. Okay, we can study the main points. When female Anopheles mosquito bites a healthy human being, it releases Plasmodium through the saliva, which lives there as sporozoite. Sporozoite is an infectious form of Plasmodium that is present inside the salivary gland of female Anopheles mosquito. So when the mosquito is biting the human being, what happens is that it transmits the saliva, and through the saliva, the sporozoite enters into human blood. These parasites multiply by asexual reproduction in the liver cells as cryptozoites. The sporozoite, when enters inside the bloodstream of human being, they directly enter into the liver cells, and once they enter into the liver cells, they are called cryptozoites. And the cryptozoites will multiply and finally burst the liver cells, and then they are released into the blood circulation. Then the parasites enter RBC. Now the name is called trophozoite. So when they enter inside the human body, they are called sporozoite. When they are present inside the liver cells, they are called cryptozoite. When they enter the RBC, they are called trophozoite. Trophozoite is a feeding form. They multiply by sexual reproduction here and finally burst the RBC also. So when these trophozoites are present inside the RBC, they consume hemoglobin. The bursting of RBC is accompanied by release of a toxic substance called hemozoin. The hemozoin is a waste product produced by the consumption of hemoglobin. And this hemozoin, when that enters into the blood, it causes high fever and chills. Within the RBC, some of them changes into gametocytes. When the deceased person is bitten by another female Anopheles mosquito, these gametocytes are introduced back into the mosquito. The gametocytes form gametes, which then fertilize and develop inside the intestine of mosquito, forming sporozoite. That means the sexual stages are occurring inside the female Anopheles mosquito. That is why the mosquito is called the primary host. The sporozoites are stored inside the salivary gland of mosquito and are released into the healthy person who is bitten by this mosquito. So two separate life cycles are there. One is inside a human being and the other one is inside the body of the mosquito. So the stage that is entering from mosquito's body to human body is called sporozoite. And the stage that entering from human body to mosquito's body is called gametocyte. Okay, so these are the prime points regarding the life cycle of Plasmodium. Another important point is AIDS. AIDS means acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. It is caused by a virus called human immunodeficiency virus. First of all, we have to study the mode of infection of HIV. When HIV enters the body of a person, it attacks the macrophages. Macrophages are our soldier cells in the tissues. The virus replicates. The viral RNA reverse transcribes to viral DNA, which get incorporated into host DNA, and subsequently new viral particles are produced. So this occurs inside the macrophages. The macrophages become a virtually HIV factory. That means large numbers of HIV particles are produced inside the macrophages. Thereafter, HIV enters the helper T lymphocytes. So helper T lymphocytes are the lymphocytes which are working for the cell-mediated immune system and also for antibody-mediated immune system. As the progenies are released, they attack other T lymphocytes. Therefore, T lymphocytes start decreasing in number and the immune response of the person becomes very weak. This is how the HIV infects a human being. How the HIV is transmitted, the mechanism of transmission of HIV. Four main reasons are there. First one, sexual contact with infected person, then sharing of infected needles, transfusion of contaminated blood, and from infected mother to the child through placental transference. These are the four methods by which the HIV can be transmitted. Then, how an AIDS can be diagnosed? The diagnosis of AIDS include a major test called ELISA. ELISA means enzyme-linked immunosorbent assay. It's ELISA. The no permanent cure, but antiretroviral therapies can prolong life. Antiretroviral drug means one which prevent the retroviral attack. Then comes the prevention of AIDS. Usage of disposable syringes, screening of blood from blood banks, advocating safe and protected sex. So these are the methods by which the chances of AIDS can be nullified. So these are the main prime points regarding AIDS. Okay. The next prime point is cancer. Uncontrolled and unwanted production of cells due to defective mitotic cycle is referred to as cancer. Uncontrolled and unwanted multiplication of cells. The process of development of cancer is called oncogenic transformation. That means the conversion of normal cells into cancerous cells. The normal cells have the property of contact inhibition. That means, what is contact inhibition? It means the stoppage of growth on coming in contact with the neighboring cells. But in cancer cells, this property will not be present. They lose this property. As a result, cancer cells divide continuously to give rise to masses of cells, and these are called tumors. There can be two types of tumors, benign tumor and malignant tumor. Benign tumor means they remain confined to their original location and they do not spread. But in the case of malignant tumor, they exhibit a process called metastasis. Metastasis means the migration of cancer cells from their point of origin to new locations. The cells load from such tumors reach distant sites, and wherever they reach, the new tumor will be produced. So that is more serious. That is called a malignant tumor. So malignant tumors are metastatic or migratory. Benign tumors are non-metastatic or non-migratory. And now comes the carcinogen. Carcinogen means the agents that cause cancer. The physical, chemical and biological agents that cause cancer are called carcinogens. Example, ionizing radiations like X-rays and gamma rays, non-ionizing radiations like UV rays. They are working as carcinogens. Then comes oncogenic viruses. Some viruses have viral oncogenes. That means cancer-causing genes. Sometimes the normal genes are in our body. The normal genes are called proto-oncogenes. They are inactive normally. Get converted into cellular oncogenes which cause cancer. Then there are major processes by which the cancer can be treated. Three major types of therapy: radiotherapy, chemotherapy, and immunotherapy. Radiotherapy means the cancer cell can be completely destructed by using high power radiations. In chemotherapy, some toxins are used. Toxic chemicals are used to destruct those cells which are continuously dividing. And immunotherapy means chemicals for boosting up our immunity against the growth of the cancer cells. So these are the prime points regarding the disease called cancer. So these are the points included in the first part of human health and diseases. Okay.